Hello everyone, welcome to your Lunar Club reading, and this is your full moon reading. So on February 16th at 11:56 a.m., we have the snow moon in Leo. And this is quite the incredible, amazing full moon. So let's get right into it. Now, what's interesting for this full moon is that this is the fifth of 7 consecutive full moons that are at 27 degrees of their sign. So this full moon is at 27 degrees of Leo. Now, we have a series of 7 full moons at 27 degrees of their sign. So what does this mean? Well, in numerology, 27 has the energy of the end of a cycle. It's the end of one cycle and the beginning of another cycle. So we have 7 full moons that are ending old energies on this planet to give room and space for new energies to be born. So as these old energies are collapsing, these new energies are already being born, and that's creating this energetic tension, this polarization. There's one world that's ending and a new world that's already being born. And we've been seeing this for the past 5 full moons. This is the 5th full moon in the series of 7, and we have 2 more afterwards. So what does this energy mean? We can see this as the collapse of the old world order and the birth of a new world. And so this full moon is a full moon in Leo. And Leo is this lion heart. And so this new world, this new energy coming up is a heart-based energy. That heart of a lion that's passionate and strong, has sovereign, and has this natural born leadership to it. So we're ending this old world energy and beginning this new world energy that is heart-centered. It's passionate, it's sovereign, it's strong, it's moving from the world of the mind into the world ruled by the heart. Now, if we took that 27 and condensed it down, it's the number 9. Now, 9 is a number of high magic, and Leo is full of magic. So when we have this cosmic ending of an old cycle and a birth of a new cycle, that of magic and high magic at that, let's take a look at what Leo is giving to us this full moon. Because Leo energy is all about strength, perseverance. You think about a lion in the jungle. It is the king of the jungle. It's filled with energy. It's a fire sign. And has lots of energy, filled with lots of light. It's filled with heart. It's a heart-centered sign. It's got a huge heart with lots of passion. It's a natural-born leader. And it has a natural-born sovereign energy to it. You think of lions, they're very sovereign creatures. Nothing is above the lion. The lion is very confident in himself. It's a natural-born leader, and he is a master of creation and the master of his domain, but not from the outside in. The lion is a master of creation and the master of his domain from the inside out. And that's where we get this heart-centered energy that this full moon is giving us. And so as this old world is ending, a new beginning is coming from the inside. And because this new energy is coming from within, this may bring rise to issues, heart-based issues or matters of the heart that we haven't yet dealt with. So if there are things in our life, any grudges that we may be holding on to, or any issues that deal with heartbreak or loss or We haven't been using our heart. We've been shielding our heart. Those issues may come up to the surface. And so this is a perfect time to really do a deep dive into what is sitting in your heart space. When you connect with your heart, what's in there? Is there a lot of sadness? Or is there a lot of joy and freedom? Is there a lot of contraction or dense energy or stuck energy? Do you feel guarded? These are some things that you want to take a look at. So take some time to sit down with your heart center and see what's there. Take inventory of what's there, because this full moon is the perfect time to let go of what you no longer need to carry around with you. Because this is the end of a cycle and we're starting a new world, a new cycle. And we have some major support from the entire universe, the cosmos, this galactic, array of stars and planets that are helping us navigate through this cosmic change, this cosmic shift in energy. And we're all going through this process in this physical vehicle, this human body. And so there's huge shifts going on in the world right now, but there is also a lot of support all around us. And so this full moon is here to support us in letting go of the old. We have Leo here to support us into opening up our heart and dealing with those issues or matters of the heart that are maybe uncomfortable to deal with. But the lion is brave, the lion is strong, and the lion is here to help us grow through these difficult matters of the heart that maybe we're procrastinating on working through. And this is the time to do it. So some more help that we have that I noticed with this full moon is we have another Grand Cross. We had one the last full moon, and this is another Grand Cross. It's a fixed cross. And so what that means is we have the sun in Aquarius, we have the moon in Leo, and then we have the North Node and the South Node, and that's giving us a Grand Cross. And that is giving us some extra energy and perseverance and ingenuity to really help us through this major process, this major cosmic shift in energy, which is a lot for our physical human bodies to process. This world has been ruled by this restrictive energy that's been keeping humans limited. And we're opening up into a world of unlimited possibilities, unlimited perspectives, a world that is not controlled by the mind, but rather opened up by the heart. And so this is a huge shift that we are seeing throughout the earth plane, throughout this human experience, this collective experience. And this Grand Cross is here to help us navigate through these shifts. And the moon is here to help us throughout this. And what's really interesting is that the sun is in 27 degrees of Aquarius. And the moon, as we know, is in 27 degrees of Leo. And we already talked about what the 27 means in numerology. But what is super fascinating is that this full moon is mirroring the full moon of the 4th of July in 1776 in Philadelphia, where we were signing the Declaration of Independence. Let's think about that. This entire nation, the United States, most of the people in my Lunar Club are from the United States, but I do have people outside of the country. And what happened in 1776 on the 4th of July in Philadelphia was an enormous burst of light that said, we are going to be a free people. We are deciding to do something different. We are deciding to be free, to be sovereign beings. You know, a lot of people left Europe because of the governments were being restrictive. There were high taxes. There was lots of rules and regulations and laws. And so they escaped the persecution of these monarchs and fled into this land to create a different way, to be free. And then on the 4th of July of 1776, there was a full moon at the 27 degrees of Aquarius, which is where the sun is now. And then, now we have, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Now we have the full moon at 27 degrees of Leo, which is the exact opposite. And so this is a mirror reflection of what happened 246 years ago. Now, what's also really interesting is Pluto has just begun a brand new cycle. It's beginning a brand new cycle because Pluto has a 246-year cycle. And so 246 years ago was 1776. And so 246 years have passed since we have signed the Declaration of Independence, saying that we are a free people. And here we are, yet again, in a new cycle, ending an old cycle, and beginning a new cycle. And let's look around at what's going on. There's lots of rules and regulations, lots of laws, very restrictive, lots of taxes. You get taxes on your wages, you get taxes on your income, you have taxes on everything you purchase with the money that you were already taxed twice for. Then you have taxes to live, your real estate tax, your tax on your home. There's all these taxes. So here we are again as a collective with a mirror image of what happened with the full moon on the 4th of July in 1776. And here it is the full moon in Leo, the heart-centered leader that is powerful and strong. And so this full moon is illuminating that strength within us. It's opening up our hearts to this new world that we are giving birth to. It is already being created. And if you haven't noticed yet, it's being created around you. And you are part of that creation process. And this moon is guiding us through this process as she interacts with these different planets and with the zodiac signs. So right now, the sun is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about freedom. And it's all about the power of the people. And we're seeing it everywhere. You're not seeing it on the news. You're not seeing it on TV. You're not seeing it in mainstream media. But if you look on social media, you see it all over the world. There's the trucker convoy that is happening in Canada. That is one of the largest peaceful protests. Nothing like the Black Lives Matters protests that happened a year or two ago where the cities were burning down. No, it's peaceful. There's a completely different tone of this new world that is being birthed. The power is in the people, not in the government. You're not seeing this on the news. You're not seeing this in major media, mainstream media, but you are seeing it all throughout the world. Australia is doing the same thing. There are videos of peaceful protests with people as far as the eye can see throughout Australia because the restrictions are so strict there. You're seeing it in Europe, and you're starting to see it in the United States. And so the sun is in Aquarius where it's all about freedom and the power of the people. And then Leo is this heart-centered energy, and that is where the moon is right now, and it's the natural-born leader. And so You have the power of the people and the natural born leader that is the heart-centered leader. And that is a recipe for a new world that is being born. And we already know that there are 7 full moons that are ending this old cycle. Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It's the planet of transformation. So we're seeing this energy shift with Pluto's new cycle. And to top it all off, all the planets are direct right now until the 29th of April. This is giving us lots of energy on the Earth plane. So this may be a time that is very fast-paced, very eventful, and deeply transformational. So there may be lots of events that are happening at this full moon and after this full moon, this time period where these major shifts are happening. And as these shifts are happening, make sure that you stand firm in your light, because as the old world crumbles, you don't want to get caught up in that whirlwind of energy. If you turn on the TV, you turn on the news, it's nothing but chaos and negativity. Don't get lost in that. Stand in your light, do that heart-based work, and be sure to meditate. I just found out about this experiment about Kassel University in Germany. And what they did was they measured the photons that were being emitted from the heart center. And the average person emitted 20 photons per second. Now, photons are particles of light. And we're always radiating light. You know, we have an energy body around us, our aura. And then they had the participants meditate for 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes of meditation, they emitted the photons that were coming out of the heart center. And it went from 20 photons per second to 100,000 protons being emitted from the heart center per second. That is an enormous shift of energy and an enormous, strength of light around your auric field. So as this old world is crumbling, be sure to meditate. And when you meditate, of course, that strengthens our aura. It emits this light field around us. And when we have this light field around us, this is how we interact with the world around us. When we enter into the room, our heart energy enters into the room before our physical body does. And this is how we read the energy of different spaces. And so be sure to have this strong light energy around you. And the best way that I have found for me to do it is through meditation. I love to meditate. I'll meditate throughout the day, in the morning, at nighttime. And so this is your reminder to meditate. And this full moon, we also have an invitation to sit around the transformational fire. Now, I've been doing a lot of work with the elements lately, and fire for me is an element of transformation. It takes something of one form and turns it into another form. And so I've been doing a lot of work with the fire element lately and sitting around the fire. And when you start to sit around the fire, you start to notice all the thought forms that are swirling around you, and then you can kind of sort them out and organize them, and you can lay to rest what you don't want, what you don't need to be swirling around in your head, and you can bring in new thought forms of peace and serenity and strength and love and compassion and your hopes and your dreams and your soul purpose, and align with your true divine self. And so once you start sitting around a fire, you can just stare at the fire and allow that heat to burn off what you want to move from, what you want to let go of, what you want to free yourself from, and let the fire just take that all away from you. Let the heat burn up that old energy and allow that new energy to come in. Sitting under the full moon, this full moon in Leo, allowing us to connect with this divine cosmic energy, guiding us back to our true divine essence, our true self, and our true purpose, our soul agreements, what we came to this planet to do. We all agreed to be here in this moment in time, which is a huge, enormous shift. The world will never be the same again as we knew it. I know people want the world to go back to normal, whatever that means. And this new normal, it's not going back to that. This is the shift. We are stepping out of this old world and stepping into this new world. And so there is this invitation to sit by the fire and allow the fire to burn up the old energy that you no longer need or want around you, to free yourself from these old limitations that we may have put on ourselves, and to step boldly in alignment with our true divine essence, to remember our soul agreements and our purpose for our lifetime on this planet. And one of my favorite ways to do that is to, when I am ready to release something, I sweep, I cleanse the area of my ceremonial fire pit, I rake up all the leaves into a pile, and if you don't have leaves, that's great, or you're working on through a fireplace or a little fire pit, you can use cards, note cards. And so if you're using note cards, write on there what you want to release. Old habits, limitations, fears, dense energies, sorrow, grudges, whatever you're working with on your life, you write that on there and you release it into the fire and let the fire burn it, cleanse it, and take it up into the cosmos and release it from you, from this physical being. And then when you want to bring something in, I gather a stone and I put it around the fireplace. And I begin this process of clearing out my emotional body, clearing out my mental body, and then bringing in what I want. And so if I'm using leaves, I speak it out loud, and I speak it out loud to the fire and to the moon, and I throw the leaves in, and I use my power of my voice, my throat chakra. You can also use note cards and write it down and put it in the fire, especially if you're working with other people and you're working with very intimate aspects of yourself. And then, when you're drawing something in, I grab a stone and I say, thank you for giving me the strength, clarity, and vision, or whatever you want to bring into your life, cash flow, success, abundance, prosperity, whatever you want to bring in, give thanks for that. And then build your mandala around your fire pit, your ceremonial area when you work with the moon. And here you have an interactive working space to clear out the old and to bring forth the new. And then every time you see and you begin to build your fire pit mandala, it's a reminder of what you are building. And you're allowing the fire to cleanse this from you. So this is one of my favorite ways to work with the fire element with the full moon. And I hope you guys enjoyed this full moon energy reading. I tried to make it as quick as possible, so I didn't even write anything down. I just put some bullet points that I wanted to make sure that I touched on to try and keep it short, but there was a lot. And so this is a big full moon, and when I did the full moon oracle reading, it cracks me up every time, but it's no surprise, it's the full moon in Leo. And that's what we have right before us, the full moon in Leo. So what that tells me is to really focus on what the essence of this full moon is. It's a heart-centered energy. It's the end of an old era and the beginning of a new era. And what better sign to help us through this transition than the Leo, the lion, the powerful leader, the sovereign being that doesn't live in fear, but rather lives in its divine sovereignty and power and strength. It's heart-centered, it's passionate, it's energetic, it's effervescent, it's light all around it. So capture that moment, the energy in this full moon, and sit by a fire and see what comes up, what work you still have to do. I will be doing that. I will be sitting by the fire and seeing what work I need to work on. You know, none of us are perfect. We're all here to learn and grow and to work, and we're all helping each other. We're all entangled in this reality together. And we each have our own individual realities, but we're also woven into this collective reality. And if we want this collective reality to change, what first needs to happen is our individual inner reality needs to change. And so that's what the moon helps me do, because the moon is our innermost being. It's the time to get in touch with ourselves. And so I hope you set some time to spend some time with yourself, spend some time with this full moon, spend some time with perhaps a fire, and bring in this new world, this new energy. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm sending you lots of love and positivity, and until the new moon, I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.